Hey guys, welcome back. All right, so this is going to be the lesson overview and a detailed overview of your 2 assignments, okay? So, for the most part, most of the colleges that you will apply to will use the Common App essays. Let me turn off my face because my face is now in the way. One second. Okay, hopefully that's good now. These Common App essay prompts are what you will be pulling from for most of your essays. Occasionally, schools will ask for a separate essay prompt, so just be really careful when you get to your individual applications. But y'all are pretty lucky because it's been standardized over the years. So you have 7 basic prompts. These were the prompts from 2019 and 2020 application season, but we have been told that they are the same for this upcoming school year. So prompt number 1 asks you to share your story about a background, identity, interest, or talent that completes the picture of you. Prompt number 2 asks us to think about obstacles, challenges, or setbacks or failures, and what you learned and how you changed. Prompt number 3 asks you to consider a time when an idea that you previously believed became challenged. What challenged it? How did your thinking evolve? And how did that change you as a person? Prompt number 4 asks you to think about the problems in the world, or maybe just the problems in your specific existence, right? So it could be your very specific daily life, something narrow, or it could be a really big problem. And it can be a problem you've solved or you'd like to solve. So this has a creative or real life application depending on how you want to approach it. And it asks you to kind of think about how you solved it or how you could solve this problem. Prompt number 5 is where you get to think about a moment of personal growth where you adjusted or matured in your relationship with yourself and other people. And this can be through an obstacle or, as they note in prompt 5, an accomplishment. Prompt number 6 asks you to think about something that you love so much you lose track of time. So maybe it's baking, maybe it's animation, maybe it's drawing, maybe it's music, maybe it's sports. Who knows? Why does it interest you? This is great because it really tells them a lot about you, and it helps them to say, okay, this is like a real person. This is not just a paper application with a GPA and an SAT score. And last but not least, they do give you the option in prompt number 7 of writing an essay on a topic of your choice. It can be one you've already written, one that responds to a different prompt, or one of your own design. This is where you need to be careful, because if you turn in something that was clearly meant for a class and hasn't been readjusted for the personal storytelling approach of a college entrance essay, they are going to sniff that out. So if you do take something you've already written in another circumstance, just make sure you polish it so that it's clearly for an application. Okay, so these are our 7 prompts that we're going to be thinking about. So when I refer to the Common App prompts, these are what I'm referring to. So I want to go through some tips on how to really nail the personal essay and to share some links to samples and additional strategies. One of the things that will help you as you think about your own strategy is to consider what other students are doing. We have learned from the 2018-19 admission cycle, which I know is a year old, that option 7, like pick what you want, was the most popular. So that's telling you, and that of course is an option where like everyone's doing something different. That's telling you that a lot of students are trying to make a unique footprint with their essay. So option 7 is your way to distinguish yourself if you feel like options 1 through 6 are going to lead to something too cookie cutter. The second most popular was option number 5, where you discussed an achievement or accomplishment. And the third most popular option was on a setback or failure. So keep in mind that if you choose those options, you have to work even harder to distinguish yourself. But here's the thing. You are your own person, and you are unique, and you are really important as an individual. So if you tell your story, even if you choose option 5 or option 2, you will have already distinguished yourself. You just have to always remember to tell your story and not what you think they want to hear. Okay? The common apps are generally around 650 words. Alright, so please keep that in mind. They do not want the kind of long academic essay that you might be thinking they want. Keep in mind they have to read millions. Alright? So let's keep going. I wanted to share with you this quotation from an individual who used to work as a dean of admissions at the University of Pennsylvania, which is, of course, a very competitive school. And she writes that even though transcripts and grades are the most important piece in review of an application, essays are where a student becomes a real person. And essays are where an admissions officer can advocate for acceptance of a student. If they're trying to decide among students, GPAs and transcripts and grades are not very useful, especially because of grade inflation and because of differences in school systems. What becomes very useful is the college essay. So think of the essay as the thing in your application that is fighting for you, and you want it to be as strong as possible because of that. So I've included here 2 of my favorite websites about do's and don'ts in writing your application essay. Assignment number 1 is going, and number 2 is going to ask you to actually click through these external links. And they'll look like this when you open them up. This is the first one. And these are great because they go into detail a little bit more about how the essays are read and understood. And they also include a list of really important do's and don'ts. So you'll be able to click through both of those. Now there's some overlapping advice, but that's partly the point for you to see what is recommended multiple times is going to be really important information for you. Okay? So those are some external links that you will review on your own. There's really no use for me to read them to you. I trust your English reading skills. But I have kind of distilled a couple key points here. Be vibrant, lively, descriptive, and mature. Okay? I can't tell you the number of essays I have read where students want to talk about their 16-year-old crush. Any 16-year-old could write that essay. Anyone. I could just spin my finger around a room and point at a student, and it could be them. So that's not the kind of thing that's going to really help you stand apart. Be personal and be honest. This means don't make up a struggle if you haven't had one. Sometimes students perceive the college essay as a competition between who has overcome the most struggle in their life. And students can feel especially frustrated if they don't have a story of struggle. If your family has been stable financially and emotionally, and you have done well in school, and you have a set of friends and people who support you, you are probably not going to succeed in your essay if you try to create a narrative of struggle. That's why the prompts about accomplishments and achievements, or the things that interest you so much you lose track of time, that's where the moneymaker is for you. So this is not an accomplishment in my dog died when I was 5, and then all of a sudden I found myself on the side of a road alone, and I managed to weave a house together out of a cornfield. It's not that kind of thing, okay? So please do not engage in a process where you try to create a narrative of struggle if you don't have one. If you do have one, that's where you get to be personal and honest and share something about yourself, okay? But definitely don't feel like that's the only way to succeed here. The thing that will not succeed is if you tell a story so generic it could be any 17-year-old in the room. Okay? This third bullet point, do not just narrate your resume. Don't tell me what club you were the president of. Don't tell the admissions officer that you did X number of volunteer hours. They have that information somewhere else. And if you use your essay to simply say that all again, you missed your chance to fight for yourself. So a good rule of thumb is do not turn your essay into a resume that you just talk about again. Now, if your accomplishments or struggles or captivating ideas come from something that's on your resume, that's fine. But that should be like one thing, right? So I might highlight one experience that I had in a club that appears on my resume. But I'm not just essentially voicing over my resume. Okay, so please keep that in mind. Show some knowledge of why you belong at that college. If your essay is about your desire to be in a very diverse environment, and you're applying to a college that has 1,500 people and it's not very diverse, they're not likely to accept you because they're going to perceive a gap between what you want and what they can offer. So it's always wise to use your essay to explain why you belong at the college briefly, maybe at the intro or in the close. Okay? And finally, if there's anything on your transcript that you think needs some explanation, a weak moment, a class that didn't go that well, again, that's something you could incorporate into your essay. Okay? Let's keep going. On this page, I have included for you 3 external links to fantastic essays. These are great. They are so lovely. So you will be asked to consult these external links in your assignments for the week. But these are sample essays. The Johns Hopkins University essays, some of them you'll notice are on other prompts, but remember, option number 7 gives you the chance to do something different. Okay? So all of these are essays. The last site up here also gives you some strategies, and it groups the samples according to the prompt. So I find that extra helpful. So these are the external links that you will consult for the samples. So let's talk about your assignments. Assignment number 1. You are going to choose one of the prompts listed on slide 2. You are going to brainstorm how you would answer it. And then you're going to choose 2 of the samples from any of the links on slide 7. Read the samples and make a list of the 5 features that make it awesome. So 5 features for each essay. Please be sure to also copy down your favorite line from each essay. So assignment number 1 is about pre-work. It's about you getting your brain rolling by thinking about yourself and by encountering some samples. Okay? So this is assignment number 1. You can do all of this on the same piece of paper. Just make sure that you tell me what common prompt you are going to brainstorm. Okay? And make sure you tell me what 2 sample essays you're reading. Please put the title or the website that they're coming from. So sample number 1 is just some brain work, some warm-up, and you'll submit this on Google Classroom. Okay, I think I might have to turn my face off to get some room here so you can see how this moves my face. All right, assignment number 2 is to actually pick one of the prompts, the Common App prompts, and compose a complete draft of your college entrance essay, no longer than 700 words. The draft has to be complete and free from easy-to-fix errors. I will grade it using the link attached on this slide, and it's also due on Google Classroom. Now the rubric will be used for feedback, and sort of if I were grading it, here's your grade, the total grade will be completion. Okay? So that's also due on Google Classroom in about a week. Just a reminder that you do have extra time. And I'm about to run out of time, so see ya.